All right, wrestling fans, welcome. We are recording this on December 27th. So obviously we've already heard the sad news about Brody Lee. We heard it last night. News broke about John Huber, as he's known in real life, at 41 years old, unfortunately passed away. Obviously I had no idea. I don't know if any wrestling fans or anybody in the wrestling world outside of the locker rooms knew. But he apparently passed away from a lung infection, not due to COVID. And his wife released a statement on Twitter, and he unfortunately leaves behind his wife, I believe, 2 kids. I probably should have looked that up. I know he had an 8-year-old son.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you read up on this. This was actually kind of a cool gesture. I guess they had known he had passed away already because I think it had been a few days. After Dynamite went off the air, they did like a little segment just for him, just for his 8-year-old son, where they basically had they did like a little skit kind of thing where his son joins the Elite and he has like a match with Kenny Omega and he pins him, and kind of like what they did for Conor the Crusher in WWE.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool.
Cool.
Just wanted to mention that. Unfortunately, 41 years old and was on an upward trajectory in his career. I think he was on his way to superstardom. And if you read from the Instagram posts, he was universally loved by everybody.
Yeah. Nobody had negative, not that anybody would post negative comments at this time, but everybody was nothing but positive from posts that I have read.
Mm-hmm. People I didn't even expect that knew him personally. I mean, I don't want to name anybody specific, but like it was everybody had something nice to say. So
yeah. No, it's clear that he had a passion for the business and was there for everyone, and he was just loved, like you said.
Mm-hmm. So just wanted to, before we go into the episode, just touch on that. Rest in peace, Brody Lee.
R.I.P. Luke Harper.
All right. Now for some happy stuff. Welcome, wrestling fans, to Scoop on the Slams. He's Danny. I'm John. You know the drill. We're going to riff on whatever happened this week. And actually, no, you know what? We're going to do things a little different because it's kind of our last episode of the year, most likely. We're probably not going to get another one in before New Year's. So we're going to kind of recap the year. What were our favorite moments, favorite matches, favorite pay-per-views, that kind of thing. So, Danny, let me ask you, favorite overall moment of the year that it's like going back to what started the year? Was it the Royal Rumble was probably the first like big event of the year?
Yeah.
Leading up to now. It could be during pandemic time, non-pandemic time, just anything in 2020. What was your favorite moment? What pops in your head first?
Just because of it taking me back to being 12 years old, Sting showing up.
Okay. Not what I was expecting you to say, but yeah, Sting was an awesome moment, and it's a shame it didn't happen in front of 20,000 people.
Yeah. That with Shivani being there and saying, "It's Sting," mm-hmm. that it just transported me back to being 12.
Mm-hmm. And seeing him come down for the rafters.
Yeah, it was everything that I wanted it to be, and I didn't know that I wanted it again.
Yeah, and very excited about what he's going to be doing now with Darby. I said this the other day to you. I think they're overdoing the Sting thing now. I think he should just pop in every now and then. He's appearing every week. It's like, and he's kind of not in character. It's a little weird. Still excited though. I still want to see I still want to see him in the ring, see how he looks.
Yeah, you're right. You hit the nail on the head. That it's Steve Borden in Sting costume. Because this last week we saw him do an impression of Dusty Rhodes.
Sting would not do that.
Sting wouldn't do that. Steve Borden would. And as cool as that was, and we got to see like a glimpse of the man behind the face paint, I don't think we need to do it.
Yeah, Dynamite in recent weeks has been, I still don't think they've put out a bad episode of Dynamite, but it's been like on a steady little, it's maybe not declining, but kind of just it's been flat last couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll see if they Tony Khan put out some sort of invitation for Impact wrestlers to come on Dynamite. So maybe we'll see some sort of, we can do an invasion angle. They can do just the Bullet Club reuniting and coming back and taking on the Young Bucks, and that'd be awesome. There's a bunch of stuff that could be happening and cool stuff that may happen. One of the first guys to react was Sami Callihan from Impact, and he was like, "Oh, like I'll keep that in mind." So you never know. And with the interpromotional stuff, there's a lot of fantasy booking going on right now.
Yeah. So a lot. I'm sure they have a lot planned for 2021. They're probably just gearing up for that.
Yeah.
First big pay-per-view being in Revolution, in February for Revolution.
No, we have 2 themed episodes coming up now with the New Year's Bash or whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah, they tend to do these, and they tend to be pretty successful. These kind of pay-per-view-ish style episodes of Dynamite.
Yeah,
I like it, and yeah, so we'll see how they kick off the year. But all right, so the Sting moment, that was a very close second for me. Actually, no, that would be third.
Okay.
That would be third. Number 2, honestly, was Keith Lee winning the title, the NXT title.
Okay. NXT. Okay.
Even though, again, you had the NXT recruits out there. You had somewhat of a little atmosphere at it, but I just was so happy for him.
Fair enough.
So that Keith Lee the first quarter of 2020 was just, it looked like it was going to be his year. And then it wasn't after that, unfortunately. That's what happens when you go to the main roster.
Yeah, it really is like a 50-50 shot.
It's a coin flip. It doesn't matter what you did before. So there was that. But number 1 for me, it's got to be the Edge return. It's the first thing that pops into my head. It's something I still YouTube to this day. I YouTube different fan reactions so I can see different camera angles of it. It was just hands down my favorite moment of 2020 so far.
Cool. Yeah, no, that was definitely a great moment. I'm not taking anything away from that, because 9 years away from a ring that you thought that you were never going to get to wrestle in again. Boy, you could tell that he was emotional when he came out there. And you and I watched this yesterday together. So you're like, yeah, we just watched it. And you're like, we'll put it on again.
Yeah. What? Let's watch it again.
Let's watch it again.
I do highly recommend the WWE 24 thing that they did on him. I think they called it Second Mountain, and it's on the network. You can look it up. And
sure,
it was cool because
I haven't seen the Keith Lee one either, so I'm really behind.
Go through them back to back. I think they're each an hour. If you'd start the Edge one, it shows him sitting down on a chair, getting mic'd up, and he starts talking about like how this was supposed to be a documentary about what I'm doing after wrestling, but something happened halfway through. And that's when he got the itch. He realized he was healthy enough to come back. So it was cool. I really liked it.
Definitely.
Okay, so favorite match of the year. This across all brands: NXT, AEW, WWE. What do you think was the best? I mean, not including New Japan, because we were just talking about this before we went on the air. There's simply not enough hours in the day for us to keep up with New Japan. We like it. I YouTube it whenever I can. There's just not enough time. So we're going to keep it to the States, the main shows: AEW, WWE, NXT.
I don't know if I have a favorite match per se, but I will say this: anything that involved the Fiend, I was all in. Super invested in it all year.
So maybe Firefly Funhouse?
Maybe. That was really cool. I enjoyed the heck out of that.
It was just so crazy that Vince McMahon and the WWE just were okay with burying themselves at their biggest show.
That was great, and it's honestly, and I'm glad that they were on 2 different nights. because the Boneyard match was just epic as well, and I loved it.
Boneyard match was solid.
And just to say that potentially my two favorite matches of the year in those two were cinematic matches. So as long as you do them correctly, they're really good.
Mm-hmm. That might be one thing WWE does better than anybody is the cinematic stuff. That they know how to do.
Well, they have the production value to do it.
Right. So yeah, okay. Let me ask you, since you brought up the Fiend, what do you think was a better match? Because a lot of people forget about this one. The Firefly Funhouse or the strap match he did with Daniel Bryan at Royal Rumble?
Oof. I'm still gonna go with Firefly Funhouse on this one.
Yeah.
That was pretty brutal, but you know, that was just awesome. It was great to see.
Mm-hmm.
And you touched on it, like them basically making fun of themselves and poking fun at their own stuff. The fact that they trust Bray enough to do that is awesome.
Which is why I want more. I want them to do the same thing with Triple H, and that's how they should retire him.
That'd be cool.
So, okay, my favorite match, it's between a couple. It's the Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns at Hell in the Cell, just from a storytelling standpoint.
That was great, yeah.
Fantastic. It's rare that WWE, anything on the main roster can pull me to the edge of my seat and pull me in emotionally into the finish of the match. And that one definitely did. I don't know how it's not a 5-star match, according to Dave Meltzer. I think he bases it more on,
Flippy stuff?
Huh?
Flippy shit?
Flippy shit, athletic stuff in the ring, which is fine. That's my favorite style of wrestling to watch. But from a storytelling standpoint, which is why I love anything Cody Rhodes does, because the man's a storyteller, that match was phenomenal from a storytelling standpoint.
I actually have another. Can I say another match that I thoroughly enjoyed?
This is what happens. They come to mind after you say.
Yeah. And I was like, this one might be match of the year, in my opinion.
Okay.
The Young Bucks versus FTR, buddy.
Oof. Yeah.
That paid homage to so many tag teams of the past. So many finishers. They used potentially everyone's finisher ever. Famous finishers. It was just poetry. It was gorgeous.
Not just that, the clash of styles.
Mm-hmm.
The aerial, like you said, flippy shit, and no flips, just fists thing. Yeah, it was a good clash. The build-up kind of sucked.
But the match over-delivered.
It did. It over-delivered. Was it a little too long? Maybe, but I feel like, with all those false finishes, it kind of adds to it. It's like, oh my God, when is this going to end? It kind of adds to it, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
One that might be better than that, though. Omega and Page against the Young Bucks, I think beats that one.
Okay. I
Why?
I don't think it's better, but go on.
Only because it's widely considered. This isn't the only reason, but it's widely considered best tag team match ever. But while I think the one you chose told a better story, like the wrestling ideologies and all that stuff, and the DIY spot during the match, loved it. But just the moments in the other one where, remember when Kenny Omega kicked out at 1, they hit the BTE trigger, and you think, okay, he's going to kick out at like 2 7/8. No, he bench presses him off at 1, and he starts hulking up. And I don't know if he decided to do that on the fly, but if he did, that shows you what a genius Kenny Omega is, because the crowd went insane.
Yeah, no, it's up there.
Yeah, and then like the almost heel turn after the match when he's about to do the buckshot lariat, he's like he's on the ropes there, and then he doesn't do it. I mean, they're very close. The two matches, it's like 0.01 better. I would choose the one at Revolution, and the reason I'm choosing it is probably because there was a full crowd there. I'm being honest.
Okay, fair enough.
The fact that there's a crowd just made it better. But Young Bucks versus FTR, that's not done. I think there's going to be one, if not two more.
Definitely not done.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting. Okay. Yeah. For whatever reason, you don't think of tag matches. It should be a separate category, honestly.
Yeah, because there's more people.
It's a different kind of match. Okay. So for a singles match, yeah, it's between the Roman and Jey Uso and Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor.
Nice.
I just rewatched it today.
Too sweet.
If you crank up the volume and listen closely, you can hear Finn tell the ref. So it's muffled a little bit because it's far from the mic, but it sounded like I broke my jaw. And then he crawls over, the ref crawls over to Kyle O'Reilly, he's like, he broke his jaw. And so they go to the go home spot where he hits his finisher, and he won 30 seconds after he broke his jaw. It seemed like that was the next spot. So there was probably supposed to be a little more, but I think they just called it there. But the fact that he was able to get up, hit one more move to set up the coup de grace, then do it, then get the pin with a shattered jawbone.
And then sit there and shake the guy's hand and not just immediately fall over and keel over and be like, ow!
Oh my God. And blood gushing out of his mouth to the point that it looked fake. And I don't know if you noticed, blood gushing out of his mouth, he's holding his jaw, also selling his, the knee, because Kyle O'Reilly had him in a heel hook for like 10 minutes. The presence of mind to do that, it's just why Finn Balor is like one of my top 3 favorite wrestlers right now.
Yeah.
That dude, he's just a badass. He's a legend. Yeah, so it's between those two. It's hard they're two very different matches. It's hard to choose. So yeah, those would be my top 2. They would be tied. Okay, nice. What about feud of the year?
Feud of the year? I don't know. This was going. I'm gonna go Edge, Randy Orton.
Really? Okay. Yeah, that was a solid feud. That was a solid feud.
It was solid, and it got cut short, unfortunately, because it was supposed to have a third match. But if they had gotten to do that third one, it easily takes this for me.
Mm-hmm. And then they had their greatest match ever at, was it SummerSlam? One of those pay-per-views.
Yeah, the greatest wrestling match ever.
Yes, the greatest match ever. You know what? It was a really good match. It was a really, really good match. They overdid it with the finish spamming at the end, but because, he was hitting like stunners and rock bottoms on Orton. It was a little weird, but kind of cool. Overall, very, very, very good match. I was impressed with it. I thought they weren't going to be able to, live up to the hype of it, the impossible hype they made for themselves.
Yeah, you semi-delivered on calling it the greatest wrestling match ever.
And if you remember, it was the first match where they piped in fake crowd noise. That's when that started.
Yeah, that one was a little off-putting, but they've
better. You know what? Better than an
they've semi-perfected it by now. So
it's they kind of throw it in here and there, so it's not. You kind of get the illusion that it's coming from the monitors, kind of the fans that are watching at home.
Well, yeah,
it's not as blatant.
Most noticeably when they do like the yes chant and stuff,
Right. Yeah. They've perfected it, but that was the first one, and it was awkward because it was like very obviously fake. It was like too much, but yeah. Okay. So that was a good feud. Man, feud of the year for me. That's a tough one. Because I didn't think of this before I said it. I just blurted out feud of the year. Man.
I know there was only one match, but just because of how intense he is, anything that Eddie Kingston, any feud that he's in is awesome.
Him and Mox, yeah.
Yeah. That was intense.
That was intense. MJF, Cody Rhodes. That was my favorite feud.
Okay.
Even though it wasn't very long, it was just, it kind of started, it started the year before, honestly, when he turned on him.
Yeah.
But then, the whipping him with the belt and all that stuff, that amazing promo that he cut on MJF. I think the week before he took the whipping, which was the one that we were at here in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. MJF, Cody Rhodes, phenomenal match. It was a great payoff, even though Cody didn't win, which shows, again, how good of a storyteller he is. It was just those two, and MJF is just such a prick. Just those two together, it worked very well.
Yeah, it did.
I'll
give an honorable mention to Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy.
Oh yeah, that was phenomenal.
Because I ate it up.
Of course, they could have feuded for the rest of the year. I would have loved it.
Yep. It was just great.
The Mimosa Mayhem match or whatever it was.
Mimosa Mayhem, yeah. The mind of Chris Jericho, buddy.
He can get anything over. It's amazing. But yeah, Cody MJF did it for me. Oh, and another moment from that feud that I loved. Again, I still can't believe all this happened this year. But do you remember the match where he was in a steel cage match with Wardlow?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's still the only steel cage match in AEW history so far.
Yep.
I can't think of another one. He moonsaulted off the cage. Wardlow was supposed to catch him. He kind of didn't. So he just hit the ring flush.
Yeah. That was scary.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that man is insane. And then goes to get a neck tattoo the following week.
Yeah. That is possibly even scarier.
Yeah.
After hearing his wife's reaction to it, that she hated it. Yikes.
Yeah. That was something. That was something that happened. Anyway, okay. What about, help me out here. What else can we do? Match of the year, feud of the year.
You can do, who do you think is the breakout superstar of the year?
There you go. Breakout superstar and who should have been a breakout superstar. We can do two separate ones because
okay,
that could be a whole 1 hour podcast.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Maybe we shouldn't do it. Maybe we shouldn't do that.
Breakout. No. We'll touch on it. We'll touch on it. I have some things to say. So, breakout superstar of the year. I think it was going to be Keith Lee. Maybe you could still give it to him, but it was just like it was only from January to like May, and then it stopped cold. Like after that, it was nothing.
Yeah.
Hard to say him. We'll put him to the side for now. He's in the lead, but God, breakout star of the year. I might have to say she came on a little late, but she was always. They kind of built her up little by little, and then Halloween Havoc, people noticed her. Shotzi Blackheart.
Okay.
That might be my breakout star of the year because I think she's destined for very big things in NXT.
Yeah, for sure. I think so.
Yeah. So, okay. So who you got?
I'm picking either the Street Profits. They were solid all year.
They were, true. Good point. Very consistent.
Very consistent and very entertaining the whole way through. And if not them, he's been. I can't even. It sucks to say that he's a breakout star of the year because he's been there for a minute now. Mm-hmm. But Big E, baby.
Big E, that's true. Towards the end of the year, really started to break out as a.
And people wanted to see. They wanted to see him go after singles titles, even when he was with the New Day. And, every once in a while, yes, it sucked to break them up, but I think enough people said it. WWE pulled the trigger on it, and they're going to do it.
Looks like it. Absolutely. As you were saying that, I did think of somebody. And this is another one you don't think of as a breakout star because he's also been in WWE, wrestled around the world, which is their lingo for TNA, without saying TNA.
Or New Japan, or just, failing to acknowledge any other promotion ever.
Right. Came back, went through NXT, and now he's the guy. He's the main star next to Roman. Really, he's the main babyface star, Drew McIntyre.
Fair enough. It was his year. You're right.
This was his year. Breakout star doesn't necessarily have to mean a rookie. It's just someone who broke out and hit another level in their career.
They reached the brass ring, as they like to say.
Or in other words, hit the weights. It got really big.
Got jacked.
Yeah. Not to take anything away from him. Drew worked just changing his physique alone the way he did, I'm sure it took an extreme amount of hard work.
Absolutely.
But also, he's an amazing worker. He's very good in the ring, reads the crowd well. When they let him be himself,
that's when things went right for him, when they let him be himself.
Really good on the mic. Remember that moment? This was early. I don't know if this was this year or last year when he claymored somebody and he's like, "I didn't drop the mic. Did you notice that?" You remember that?
That was it. I think that was this year.
Yeah. You let him be himself. You get great moments like that.
Yeah, he's hilarious. And we could talk, I don't know. There was potentially what could have been a feud of the year, in my opinion. I don't know if it just would have been one match or not. But Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal would have been pretty awesome.
You think?
I think so. I think there's something there.
Well, they got the history with 3MB. That's true.
That's really what I was touching on.
Yeah.
And he said it recently. He was like, Jinder Mahal was one of the only guys that was calling me when my mom died and I was going through a really rough patch of my life. And
yeah,
he's like, we could play off of all that and we'd have a solid story.
Yeah. Well, they got plans for him. They got plans for Jinder, it seems like, for NXT India, which they're launching soon, I believe.
Is he going to be a commentator or?
He's going to wrestle. I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I would think. I think they'd use him as like a top talent over there because, I would imagine he's very popular over there. That's why they put the title on him because of.
Oh, I know. Because they were launching that. I get it.
So he's probably going to be like their top guy, kind of like what they did, Jericho into AEW, make him the first champion kind of thing.
Okay.
Maybe, he'll work his way back to the main roster.
Yeah. No, not a bad way to end or start NXT India.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And now it seems like NXT after buying Evolve and what was the other company that they bought?
Progress.
It came out. There's been rumors about it for a while, but it came out recently that officially that Triple H is getting a team together to kind of create this big feeder system into NXT, effectively making NXT just an equal third brand to the other two brands.
Right. Which
I kind of like it because they've been this, as far as pure wrestling, they've been the superior brand of the three.
No, and
not
for the most part, other than a few storylines that we could pick, probably a handful of, storytelling wise, they've been the superior show too.
Absolutely. Aside from the head of the table tribal chief thing,
anything Fiend related,
Edge and Orton.
I was gonna say, and can have anything that Randy Orton's been involved with has been pretty solid.
Yeah, Edge and Orton.
No, Edge, Orton, the Orton McIntyre stuff.
Maybe Sasha and Bayley. Maybe.
Ooh, yeah, that was good stuff.
I feel like it was better when they were in NXT. I feel like that was way more organic.
Oh, it was.
But that's pretty much it. Other than that, NXT's been, consistently better than the other two. So yeah, I like the fact that they're thought of as a third brand. I want to see more NXT in Survivor Series. I want to see at some point another little invasion kind of thing because I thought that was fun.
Kevin Owens touched on it, that they should be part of the draft.
Part of the draft. Let's touch on that for a second. What if they're part of the draft from now on? And you had a great idea when we spoke yesterday. Have them draft the unsung talents, the talents that don't get pushed that should.
Yeah.
First person that came to mind was Cesaro. Can you imagine Cesaro at Full Sail at NXT with today's NXT audience, assuming, people come back soon?
That'd be great.
They would love him.
Yeah. Or I know they're kind of working a new angle now, but it was like short. I mean, Chad Gable, you've got
Let's call him Shorty G.
almost did it. They almost got me. They almost got me to call him that. His name is Chad Gable. Damn it, he's a man.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then,
there's just a slew of guys that could put on solid matches, or if you give them the time of day, there's just a slew of talent that you could put in tag team wrestling, and because there's no depth in any of the tag divisions except NXT.
except NXT, right? Yeah. And what you could do even is have not a wild card rule kind of thing, but if you can occasionally have a rivalry between somebody on NXT and somebody on Raw where, like, I don't know, Ricochet might drop by, or Drew McIntyre might drop by, or, whoever.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what a reaction John Cena would get walking through Full Sail just one time. His music hits in at Full Sail.
They would. I would eat it up.
I would love it. I think he'd get a good pop. They'd be like, "Holy crap, John Cena's here for us!"
Yeah. Or Aleister Black going back.
I thought of him. Yeah, Aleister Black. Yeah, you could have like established guys. Oh, you remember that little Twitter beef, that little mini Twitter beef that Randy Orton and Tommaso Ciampa had?
Mm-hmm.
Randy Orton was making fun of the thigh slap thing.
The thigh slapping thing, yeah.
You could have Randy Orton drop by, RKO Ciampa out of nowhere, and
I'd lose my mind if Ciampa's music hit on Raw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just hearing that that flat line and the "Nobody Will Survive,"
mm-hmm.
I'd lose my flipping mind.
that would be cool. There's a lot they can do if they really start crossbreeding and do like.
Yeah, you don't even. The talent pool is so large that they don't have to do interpromotional work, but you could do inter-brand work very well.
Absolutely. I mean, I know I was eating up Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte last year. I was loving that.
I was too. The wrong person went over, but
wrong person went over, hands down. But you know what? Treating it like an equal brand might fix the whole problem of, the Raw writers not wanting to have Charlotte lose.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Like Triple H can kind of, have some of those writers in. I don't know how this would work. That's wishful thinking on my part.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't even know, because I've looked into getting a job as a writer at WWE. It would require me moving to Connecticut. So no. I don't know if the NXT writers live in Orlando.
Yeah. Well, I heard WWE writing jobs pay very well, so you should go to Connecticut. The opportunity rises. I'm just saying.
I'll think about it. I'll think about whether I want to get yelled at by Vince McMahon.
Yeah, just hand him something for it to get torn up. But hey, you're making well into the six figures, so whatever.
Once he tears it up, I'll have him sign it and be like, "Can you sign this, please?"
By the way, can I have your autograph? Yeah. So, yeah. So what else? What else can we cover? Feud of the year, match of the year. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, we got breakout stars. You did match of the year, feud of the year. Those are all solid categories.
Let's do one more.
Can we do worst category?
Let's do that.
What's
really
the worst thing that happened?
We got a few minutes. Yeah, let's do that. The worst storyline. Let's go that. That's like kind of an all-encompassing thing. Worst storyline.
Me? You want me to go?
You first.
Anything that involves Retribution.
Damn, that was quick. Okay. I was hoping I had more time to think.
No, just anything involving them. It's been atrocious. Apparently, it makes more sense if you watch Main Event, but I only have so many hours in the day. and I don't. So it's been really flat, at least on the main show.
I'm going to go deeper into that. I'm going to say Retribution as well, but I'm going to go with the whole hacker storyline.
That they dropped?
Yeah. Yeah, that they just kind of, oh, by the way, I'm the hacker.
Yeah.
That's how they ended that.
Yeah, and weeks into his being the leader of Retribution, he just dropped that little nugget out of nowhere.
No, it wasn't like a big reveal. I'm the hacker. He's like, oh, by the way, really?
By the way, I was the one that did this.
And I'm going to give a shout out to Adam Blampier at Wrestle Talk, who I love his countdowns and his how I would have booked stuff. I've been watching him for years. He did one on the hacker. Had a lot of good points. Like, for example, why is WWE and Vince McMahon not freaking the hell out that someone's hacking his show? Like, did anybody notice that? The TV, the lights went out for a second. No. You would be losing your shit if someone took control of your production truck remotely.
Yeah.
It would be complete chaos.
Yeah. It should have been addressed by WWE management, so like at the very least.
Yeah. Have like WWE management release a statement, like something really official looking to make it seem like, wait, what is this? How real is this? Like, just kind of give us that little.
Yeah, do that. Like, put out a memo saying that, like, if you have any information on this, like, you will be rewarded type of thing. Like, like put out like a bounty on this guy's head.
Oh my God. It could have been they could have done so much with it and nothing.
Nope. They tend to do that.
Yeah. So that was by far the worst because it was so disappointing. It was like at first, because there were rumors it might be CM Punk. At first it was a cool idea, and we're like, ooh, who's this going to be? Like something to be excited about. It was early in the pandemic.
Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest complaints about WWE. They do the vignettes for way too long. Before somebody debuts or whatever, they do it for way too long.
They string it out too long. They should do it shorter and then debut the person.
Yeah. Like, how many weeks did we see that? I forgot her name. Tennille Dashwood. That Emelina thing. That's what it was.
Oh my God.
How many weeks did we get that? How many weeks did we get the Eva Marie ones? How many, why?
And literally the Emelina thing got dropped right before she walked out there.
Yeah. And they were like, oh, by the way, you're just Emma. Bye.
Yeah, figure it out. See ya. Good luck. Like as she's walking out of Gorilla. Wait, what?
Yeah. I was like, you guys aren't even going to give me no new music? Nothing?
You just went out as Emelina and told the crowd, no, I'm Emma again.
Yeesh.
It was really weird.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest gripes with their programming.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not something that just happened in 2020. It's something that they've done for years and years. I don't expect it to change, but here's hoping.
Here's hoping. All right, so I think that does it for us. We are going to do pretty soon our own booking of Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, how we think it should look. We'll see how close the real thing comes, because usually on these things we're way off. These started as text conversations between you and me years ago, but now we're actually going to put it on YouTube for our 20 fans to see. So
yeah, for them to be like, ha, if assuming that they watch, be like, ha, boy, you were wrong.
So so we're going to do that soon. So stay tuned for that. And until then, everybody enjoy your New Year's. Be safe. And see you soon. This has been Scoop on the Slams. See ya.
See ya.